Welcome to 2019, ladies and gentlemen. We are here in an A45 AMG, which the owner has courteously let me drive. Thank you very much. And yeah, let's start off 2019 on a good note. So what is the A45 AMG, ladies and gentlemen? Now, at least from what I know, Mercedes-Benz is really in an experimental phase at this point. They decided to make a buggy. They decided to really get into their sports vehicles all that more. I mean, they've always been into it, but it's just becoming more and more and more at this point. And until they decided, you know, let's give the A-Class a makeover, because it was pretty docile before, let me say. And now, I'd say this is quite the wild card at this point. So this is what the A45 is, essentially. So what we're looking at here is a 2-liter turbocharged engine. And apparently this is the fastest factory 2-liter turbo engine that you can get on the market. And for factory stuff, 280 kilowatts and 475 newton meters of torque. I believe this is the pre-facelift version of this car. Is quite a lot. And this particular car that I'm driving here has a Rogue Performance downpipe. I'm pretty sure it's a full exhaust even. And with that, I can assume that the car has a tune as well. So we're probably pushing around maybe 300 kilowatts or so at the fly. So yeah, it's pretty quick. Let's talk a little bit about how this car drives. I'm going to speak about handling first. And with this vehicle, it's a 4-wheel drive, or it could be all-wheel drive. I'm not entirely sure. Between the two, it probably is all-wheel drive. And what we have here is something with the Haldex system, because it's a transversely mounted engine. And what you get from this is something, I believe from what I was reading, has an open diff as well. So some people say it's understeery. I've kind of put this car through its paces and it handles like it's on rails, that's for certain. But one thing about this is it's pretty safe in the way it handles. It doesn't really want to step out, even when you give it the beans especially, and you want to, you know, put a bit of handling prowess. So it's very safe in that aspect. And really, this car is quite idiot-proof when you look at it. So we're working on AMG sports suspension here, and really low. And of course, we're even coming up to a speed hump now, so I have to go at an angle. Oh, I hate doing this. Please don't scrape, please don't scrape, please don't scrape, please don't scrape. Yeah, I got skill. Yes, we didn't scrape. Thank you. Oh, here comes another speed hump. Swing, go over, take it easy. We're all good. So what is it that people love about the A45, and how does it even pertain to the Vrpa culture here in South Africa? Now, as you can hear, this car makes a lot of noise, but the good kind of noise. And people love that sort of thing. And of course, you're looking at something with the 3 silver arrows. And of course, that's going to garner a lot of attention here. And even just driving this car around now, you know, I've been getting quite a few looks, I can tell you that much. And it does sound nice. It looks beautiful. And of course, we got an aero pack on this car as well. And man, it's really something. And one thing you can really tell that Mercedes did with this car is they really thought this car out. I really have to congratulate Mercedes for this. The ergonomics are simply amazing. Like even things like the sports seats as well. You've got Alcantara in the center and of course leather on the sides. That Alcantara in the center helps you to actually stay gripped in your seat when you're cornering hard. Now that's a good thing to think about with sports driving cars, because with leather seats you tend to slide around quite a bit. But for cloth material, not so much, especially if you choose the right cloth material. And despite this car being quite low, it handles the South African roads quite well, even some of the more bumpier B stuff which are coming about now, and takes it in stride. I think Mercedes has done something, or even AMG, let me say, has done something to fiddle with the suspension to make it, well, more active. I believe with the facelift version, you get active dampening settings. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know YouTube comments will do that most definitely. But it really is a comfortable drive. You don't really feel it, well, the harsh ride when you drive this. And of course, it is quite low. We've got 19-inch wheels and we're on Kumo tires here. It does the job really well, I should say. So being a 4-wheel drive nature car, or all-wheel drive, I'm going to say that a lot in terms of handling, it doesn't feel too understeery, but it kind of induces a little bit of oversteer, but that's just to correct, because remember, the computers are at work here in terms of handling for the vehicle. So like I said earlier, it's a very, very safe vehicle, so you really can't do anything wrong to make this step out. And funny thing, actually, I tried this car out in Project Cars recently using a steering wheel, and the same can be said there. If you try and make the car step out, it really doesn't want to. It's such a safe vehicle, you really have to do something quite stupid in order to make this step out. Now, in terms of the drivetrain, I really have to congratulate Mercedes for this speed shift system. The gearbox programming in this is sublime. When I want it to change, it changes. And of course, you've got the safety things involved, like you can't downshift, you know, too early and all that sort. And when you want to step on it, like now, as we step up and use the paddles, it responds. It does its job and it does it well. I really do like this gearbox. They programmed it so well. And now we have to talk about power for this vehicle. I mean, that's the order for the day right here, apart from handling and of course drivetrain stuff. Yeah, 280 kilowatts really is something. It really does have that turbo shunt, I'll tell you that much. Mercedes did good tuning on this engine, I must say. With the twin scroll turbo, you've got linear power delivery, but it's really, really strong. It doesn't feel like it falls off at any point. They really did tune the ECU well on this, and I think even with the remap as well, it really does add to that experience, which I will show you right now as this traffic just goes past on the main road, which I'll show you now. All right, let's give it some beans and listen to it fart away. Goodness gracious, this is quick. This is very quick. I mean, this car is very nice, but let's be honest for a second also. I mean, it does everything so well. It's so calculated. It gets to the point where it's honestly quite clinical, I would say. I mean, nothing can really go wrong with this car. I mean, you don't want anything to go wrong, of course, but at the same time, I'd love a little bit more drama that's a bit less uncalculated. Something that's more akin of a fun personality, so to speak. And if I was to give this car a character, I mean, call him Ludwig von Stronheim or something, we ask him, hey Ludwig, let's go for a nice, you know, fun drive. So yes, and I will give you the characterful drive, and we will make sure that it is a good characterful drive. But at the same time, we have to do things properly. It must be calculated with German precision. Make sure. So it says, okay, fine, cool. That's all well and cool, Ludwig, so let's go through, you know, let me have a little bit of fun. Maybe you can assist me in the drive. Ludwig goes and says, Nein, I will be taking over the drive. You are incompetent as a human. I am this vehicle and I am the robot. I am better. So, und is that the Focus RS? Yeah, that's your competition, Ludwig. I must break him. So yeah, in its clinical nature, it kind of loses its fun a bit in a sense compared to cars like, let's say, the Focus RS. Now, bear in mind, I've not driven a Focus RS, but something like that, you can see the fun and character even in the way people drive that car. Whereas this, it does its job at being quick, it's really good image on top of that, and it does the things that you think are quite fun and make you put a smile on your face. But at the same time, if it's clinical, what's kind of the point, in all honesty? So in spite of that, what I would say for this vehicle, who is it actually for, I would say? Now, I put it in this sense. If you want something that's point and shoot, then this vehicle is essentially for you. And it does have all the bells and whistles and whatnot. If you want that sort of thing, then yes. But if you really want to get into something that's more for the drive and you really want to feel things and whatnot, like that's another thing when I drive this car in particular. I do get a bit of feedback, but honestly, I'd like a little bit more. It feels a bit dampened, I would say, you know, for luxurious hyper hatch is what people would call it. So if you're really looking for the drive, I'd say maybe look at something like a Renault even though I haven't driven one of those before. There's a lot of cars I have not driven, and you will see that on this channel a lot this year. So yes, the A45 AMG, in spite of that, is a very nice vehicle, but you have to bear those things in mind when you drive this vehicle, even consider getting one as well. But this is just one man's thoughts and opinions. So yes, I'd like to say thank you very much to the owner for letting me drive this vehicle, and of course the A45 AMG, here it is in all its glory and goodness and Mercedes-ness. So yeah, here we are. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, it's TayeedzSA here, and that's all she wrote.